$1 million, huh? I have got nothing at all. I have no words. But I do have a bottle of champagne. So it's actually, that's not totally true. I will come up with some words. But first, we've got this to deal with. See if I can not overflow this. Aha! See, I've learned a little bit from last time. Okay, I haven't learned entirely from last time, but... Well, holy crap. So, $1 million on the Kickstarter is amazing. Phenomenal. I don't know what else to say. Except I guess we're going to have to come up with another stretch goal thing of some sort. All right, guys, so here's where we're at. It seems a little odd to leave the Kickstarter with 2/3 of its time still to run without any actual goal. The intention is stretch goals. If you're going to get them, you want to get them all right by the end of the campaign. They're supposed to last through the campaign, not all get knocked out in the first 10 days. So we are going to add a $2 million stretch goal. I fully acknowledge that this is kind of ludicrous, but I think the idea that we would actually necessarily make $1 million is kind of ludicrous as well. So who knows? If we get this, fantastic. If not, well, hey, it was worth a shot, right? So the $2 million stretch goal is going to be a worldwide book tour. We were trying to come up with something that was feasible to do. I know there are going to be people who suggest you should do extra sections on a bunch of other types of guns or other content. Well, the problem is at this point, we don't really have access to a lot of additional guns to photograph. Certainly not in the time frame that would be acceptable to actually get this book out in a reasonable period of time. Doing a bunch of material on Chinese rifles, for example, is essentially starting an entirely new book and has that sort of time frame to it. So it's not really feasible. However, one of the things that I think would be really fun to do is be able to sign a bunch of people's books in person, be able to meet up with a bunch of people and do an actual meet and greet tour in a way that I haven't ever really been able to do in the past. And so that's what we've got in mind. The plan is, if we hit 2 million, this will take me probably about 3 weeks to do, all told, because we will go to probably 6 or 8 major cities in the US. We'll determine which cities based on where we've had the most sales come from and try to get a nice even sampling across the country. And then we will also, I will also travel to all of the rest of the top 10 countries where we've sold books. So the number 2 country is clearly going to be Canada. It already is, and I don't see that changing. We'll do 2 or 3 cities in Canada, presumably something East Coast, something West Coast, to meet up with a bunch of you guys there. And then I'll fly over to Europe and we'll do the next 8 countries in order, wherever we have substantial number of sales. And most of those are not going to be that difficult because they're all relatively close together. Do train tour around, meet a whole bunch of people. I'm thinking we'll probably try to do these at military or history themed bookstores. I've got a few ideas for this. The logistics we will work out in full detail should we actually hit this somewhat ludicrous stretch goal. But this does raise the point that our sales are predominantly to English-speaking countries, and one of the top ones is always Australia. In fact, I believe Australia is our 4th country in order of number of orders at the moment. And so, yes, I will do Australia as well. My thought is probably making a stop somewhere in Asia on the way. Even though Asia is not anywhere on our top list of sellers, it's a nice way to break up what is otherwise a pretty ruinous flight from either the US to Australia or from Europe to Australia. But that's the idea. I don't know, there's a bunch of logistical stuff that'll come up, will we be able to have books? Will I be able to take books with me to have available for sale to people who aren't in the Kickstarter? maybe some places, definitely not everywhere. That's a big logistical question to try and deal with. We'll cover that should the need arise. But in general, that's the plan. Like, it'll be a solid 2 weeks, probably end up being 3 weeks of traveling through the US, through Canada, Europe, and Australia to meet up with a whole bunch of you guys, sign books, talk, meet, have fun, get some food, have a scotch or two. And I fully acknowledge that $2 million is a totally ridiculous stretch goal, but I've already seen what you guys are doing, and that might actually get met. So I hope so. I think this would be a lot of fun. It's a big endeavor, but is absolutely something that I will put together the time and do. So we do have a number of other things coming. In fact, we've got a video coming tomorrow on some updates to the Kickstarter. There were a number of changes that we decided to make to it based on some of your suggestions and input, and so we're going to be rolling those out as well. If you want to help make that stretch goal, keep in mind we have a whole bunch of add-ons available, including other head-stamp books, as well as things like bookmarks, posters. We'll be talking a little bit more about the poster in a little while. Ex Libris labels, that sort of thing. All that stuff counts towards the total for the Kickstarter. So anyway, I'm going to go drink some more champagne, I think. Thank you all so very much. I'll talk to you later.